burning brighter somewhere. Got to be birds flying higher in a sky more blue.
Good morning. Welcome to Right Thinking with Steve Coplon. I'm your host, Steve Coplon, and thank you for tuning in. Let's have a great day. Good morning, everybody. It is absolutely wonderful to be here with you today. Thanks for tuning in. And you know from listening to me all last year that I get excited, but I got to tell you, I am as excited today as I've ever been, because we got a whole new year that we're doing, 2018, and the very last time that I did a new show before I started doing some what we call encore shows that I would like everybody to have listened to get a real feel for what this show is all about with Right Thinking Foundation and the mission that it has to help those that are experiencing hardship and for those that want to be there for them. The last show that I did live was December the 18th, and my wife Donna was my guest. And if I could have hoped and prayed and wished for something wonderful to happen in my life, it happened on December the 18th. Having Donna come onto the show, that is a life-changing event for me, and I predict that it's going to be a life-changing event for all of you listening, and here's why. This year, Donna is going to be a very regular co-host with me, and she's got so much to share, the woman's point of view that we can bring forth. It was just wonderful having her on the show. But the year culminated for me last year with Donna making her debut, and she brought out so many wonderful things. For one thing, she put out a thought that I think is just so powerful. It's if you really want to change, you have to change your environment. That was one of her main points that she brought onto that show, December the 18th, for those of you that might have missed it. But another thing that Donna did was she shared a website that she found called BibleReasons.com by Fitzcherry. BibleReasons.com by Fitzcherry. And Donna was just so excited that she had said to me, she said, Steve, we don't ever have to find any other place to go to get the spiritual things that we like to present because they're all right there. No, it's just an incredible site, and she had many, many things that she brought forth off of that site that day, and it was wonderful. So starting next week, Donna's going to be on the show a lot, and I can't wait to have her next week. So make sure you tune in next week. Well, a lot has happened in the last 2 months since I've done a live show. For one, I went to 5 different prisons and had a lot of wonderful interaction, made a lot of new friends. And the beauty of it is that I introduced to all the prisons that I went to the Right Thinking Foundation National Online Support Network. I talked to everybody about wanting to be there when they get out. You know, people that have been incarcerated, there's a whole lot that happens when they're there. You know, they committed a crime and they're serving their time, and the system is trying to rehabilitate them and get them ready to after they've paid the price, done their punishment, come back out, go back into society, and then go have a normal life. Well, the problem is that if you've been incarcerated, it's very hard for you to come out and have a normal life because of all the different things associated with that experience. The penal system historically has always been pretty much separate someone from society and punish them and have it so that they never want to go back in if they get released. Have the experience been so bad? Well, over the years, a lot of smart people figured out that, you know what, that's just not working so good. We need to do more with education and the rehabilitation side to get people ready to come back out. But there's a word that I want to introduce that is a very, very difficult thing to understand. It's the dehumanizing that happens when people are incarcerated. It's such a rough environment, so to speak, that people tend to be in a place where they get through it, they get deep into themselves, they do a lot of soul searching, so to speak, but at the same time, they have a very hard time trusting anyone else. They have to literally watch their back all the time. And so society expects people that have been incarcerated to come out and just fit back into society. Well, I've been teaching, preaching, saying for a long time that it's a two-way street. If we want people that have been incarcerated to come out, reemerge back into society, they're not going to succeed unless those that are already out in society receive them back in. And I had one of my close friends ask me, exactly what do you mean, Steve, by receive? And I said, well, when they come back in, they got to be welcomed. They got to be made to be felt loved and to be part of community. And that's not that easy to do. And one of the things that I've been doing for the 6 years I've been in prisons, over 400 times now, when I communicate with the returning citizens that I get to know, I let them know that, it ain't going to be that easy when you get out, but you can't blame the people that are basically afraid, because the national recidivism rate is 70%. Now, I've had a lot of other shows where I talk about recidivism and what it really is and so forth. And just to say it really quickly, somebody's been incarcerated. They serve their time. They get out. They're not succeeding. They commit a crime. They get arrested. They get convicted. They go back in. That's called recidivism. And so I've said, though, that when people come out and they're not succeeding, that's a fearful situation for people that are there to help them come back in. A lot of employers are afraid to hire returning citizens. Just a lot of people are afraid to associate, because with a 70% national failure rate, something could go bad, and most people don't want to be involved when that happens. So that's one of the issues that we have to deal with. And so what I tell people in prisons all the time is that when you get out and you go for that job interview and you're rejected, hey, try to understand that it's not the person's fault that doesn't want to hire you, that they're afraid, why they're afraid. It's because the statistics that you're part of say that there's a 70% chance that something's going to go wrong along the way, and they just don't want to be involved. So the counsel that I give everyone is, hey, if you get rejected, it might take 37 rejections before the 38th person says to you, there's something about you that's touched my heart, and I want to give you a chance. The person might say, I never thought I wanted to be involved with a returning citizen, a felon before, but there is something about you, and you've touched my heart. So what I'm saying is, if you're a returning citizen and you're rejected from a job that you need desperately, don't be angry. Just as you leave, excuse yourself, thank them for the opportunity for the interview, and pray for them that they'll be able to understand more about what it is to love and give people a second chance. And so that is exactly what today's theme is about, is that today we're going to talk about the Right Thinking National Online Support Network, but we're not going to talk about all of the reasons for why it's necessary and everything else. We're going to focus on specifically the volunteer advocates that we're going to be recruiting to try to be there for all those returning citizens upon release, that they can become friends and be there to help and encourage them. So what I've said about today's show is that this week's show will be about the Right Thinking Foundation National Online Support Network. Hear Steve talk about how your serving as a volunteer advocate can make a huge difference in the lives of returning citizens upon their release from incarceration as they enter society and have a positive effect on their families. What I'm going to deal with today is, and I'm just so happy because I got to a place over the last few weeks here. I've spent 6 years trying to figure out what we can do to help returning citizens succeed. And along the way, I learned that, the very best way to reduce recidivism is to get to the kids before they go too far out in life and screw up. You know, I'm a martial arts master instructor, and when I teach self-defense, the concept that I teach is the very best self-defense that you can have in any situation is to not be there in the first place. So I want to apply that thinking to, let's get to the children. You know, I identified the children of incarcerated people. 85% of children that are born into a family where there's been incarceration or there is incarceration are going to see bars in their life. That's the statistic. So this is what Right Thinking Foundation is all about. We want to do something about this. We want to help those that have been incarcerated. We want to keep those children that were born into those families, not by any choice of their own, out of prison. So what we want to do is we want to be able to, when people that are incarcerated are released, we want to be able to connect them with a support system that will help them move forward with their lives. And here's kind of what it is all about. I just came up with this about a week ago. I am going to get volunteer recruits, people that want to do more, want to love people that need to be loved. I want to get a whole army of volunteers from all over the country and match them up with returning citizens that get out of prison so that these returning citizens will be loved on by caring people. And over a period of time through the process, these people that so desperately need to be loved, that need to be able to accept and receive the love that is going to be there for them, will then start to be caring people themselves and pass it on to other people, particularly their own families. So that's what today's show is about. I got so much stuff here that I can get into, but I want to tell you this. Let's just go with the flow today. Let's just relax a little bit. Try to enjoy what today's show is about. I hope you can get something out of it. And I want to tell you that over the last 6 weeks, I played 6 shows that if you go back and listen to any of those, it's a complete summary of the mission and the work and the direction of Right Thinking Foundation. We started off with the first show that we replayed on Christmas was Richard Kay's show, Incarceration, Its Effect on Families. Powerful show. Then we went with my show called Recidivism, We Can Win the Fight. Then we went with Starting Over, what it's like to succeed when you have to start over with your life. Then I came back and played one that I'd done called Right Thinking Foundation, State of the Union. It was kind of a history to how the whole thing got started, where we've been, and a lot about where we're going to be going. Then the show after that was when I went across country to the prison in Oregon, Powder River Correctional Center, and I delivered the message of Jim Stovall and Napoleon Hill and Robin Kasarjian and Viktor Frankl along Don Green with my message to let people know that they're loved and they can make it when they get out. The Spirit of America, it was like my travel log as I took that journey. And then last week I did a show called Cash Flow and Savings, Cash Flow, Budgeting, and Savings, where I actually presented some of the tools that is the theory of right thinking, that if we can reduce stress in your life that's caused by financial issues, you'll be better focused to be able to deal with the unexpected things that happen in life, jobs, loss of job, accident, layoff, divorce, things like that. And so I'm here to try to help the returning citizens. But my focus today that I'm so thrilled about is I'm not going to talk about returning citizens. I'm going to talk about people that are already out there, nice, stable lives, that can do so much more for themselves to receive God's blessings by doing more for others. And so I asked Donna to help me get some biblical research done that's on that exact theme, to reach people today that can be there for others. And she came across a Joyce Meyer. I love Joyce Meyer, her everything about what she does. The Power of Being Thankful. It's a book of devotions by Joyce Meyer, and I'd like to